Hello. Today we're going to be looking at redaction within pdfDocs and the different ways that you can do that. So there is a protect ribbon within pdfDocs, and there are a number of different options here, and we'll just have a look at the way that we can go about the different types of redaction. So first off, we can use the mark area tool. This is great for redaction if we know the area that we want to redact, so we can just draw over it and select an area. So that starts the redaction process. So if I hover over it there, we can see what it looks like once it'll be redacted. And then when I move the cursor away, I can also see what text is under there. I can also resize this if I needed to, using the little points there. So to do redaction, it's a two-stage process. So we've started it there by selecting the area. The next is to apply that redaction and permanently remove the text layer. To do this, we get a warning just saying, are we sure? Because this cannot be undone. So it's always worthwhile saving as a copy when you first start this, just to make sure you're not overwriting the original source document. So there we go. I press yes, and what happens is pdfDocs takes the text layer out, applies the black redaction, and then closes and reopens the document. So now we can see, if I hover over this, there's no text coming up there. And just to confirm that, let's just copy the text and see if there's anything that shows up between clustered and non-clustered. I'll just paste that there, and we can clearly see that clustered, non-clustered, there is no text between there. That text has been permanently redacted. So that's the mark area tool. Now, there are other ways to do redaction, and we can also look for text. So this is a great way to search for text if we know certain words, maybe client names, etc., that we need to remove from a document, personal data, but we don't know whereabouts in the document it is. You could be working with hundreds of pages. You don't want to have to manually scan through them. So we can do a text search for this. So what we need to do is we need to be in the protect ribbon, and then click on search, and then we can put our text word or phrase that we would like to find in this search box here. So if I type leases, then what that does is that brings up a list here of all the occurrences of leases within the documents, and it also highlights them on the pages here, so we can see exactly where they're located. What's great about the results here is that you get context for the results as well, so you can see the surrounding text, so you can easily see if this is something that you need to redact. Now, to go through this, we just need to go and tick the boxes. We can do this individually, or we can select all by ticking this box here. So that is fine. We'll select all of the instances of leases within the document, and then once again we just need to start this two-stage process. So we start by selecting mark ticked results. That highlights the text that we've selected ready for redaction. So we can see there when we hover over, it's going to hide it away and show us what that redaction will look like. So now all we need to do is apply. When we do that, we get the same warning come up again. We click yes, so now pdfDocs will take away all the text layers, apply the black redaction, close and reopen the document. So now all that text is now redacted as we did with the mark area. So these are great ways for redacting text that we know where it is, or we know the word that we need to find. But what if you need to find text or information, you know what format it's in, but you don't know the exact number, perhaps the exact word? Well, we have a feature called patterns that we can search for within pdfDocs. So again, to use this, we need to be in protect, and then we click on search, and then we select the patterns radio button. We then get an option to select our pattern. Now, pdfDocs has a number of different formats already built in, and we are constantly expanding this, and you can set it for your locations, whether it's UK, maybe perhaps somewhere in Europe, so Holland, etc., or US, and the format of the numbers will change based on those. So we can search for phone numbers, we can search for credit cards, In the UK, we can search for national insurance numbers. For example, in the US, that would be social security. We can also search for email addresses and dates. So this is great if you know that information is in there somewhere, but you're just not quite sure what the number is, or perhaps. So let's try a email address search here. So we have 2 email addresses within this document, and they're on this cover page here. So I can choose which ones I need to redact, or I could select them both and just redact all of it. So again, we just need to approve that. We just need to go to the mark ticked results. Then we need to click on apply, confirm that we wish to go ahead, and that will then carry out the redaction. So that text has now been removed. So that's great for removing data, removing information from the document. So now, how else can we use the redaction tool? So it could be that we're working with some documents, we've collated a few different files together, and we're just getting ready to put this out, ready for perhaps a binder. But what we need to do is we need to do a bit of just housekeeping and just clean up the document. We've got form numbers, we've got page numbers that aren't sequential. So you've got this 1, this 2 here, this 1 here, but there's a document above it. So it could just be that we want to remove some information so that we can apply perhaps our own pagination or our own headers and footers. So to do that, we can use the redaction tool. So if we use the mark area, we can select the area that we wish to redact. So let's do this here, extend this up slightly there, and that's hiding the area that we wish to redact. Now, of course, this is black, which wouldn't be a great look for the document in overall. So we can actually change the color. So up here we have the redacted area fill color. If I select this to white, then we can make every footer within here appear white. So if we hover over that now, get a look at what it's going to look like, that's fantastic. Now, I don't want to have to go through and do this on every single page manually. So what I can do is I can right click and then go apply to pages. I then get this option here, which then I can choose which pages I want to do. So I can do just easily all pages. I can perhaps exclude the first or the last, etc., odd and even first. And I can also select a sequence of pages perhaps. So, but we'll just do this for all pages for now. So there we go. So this is now ready to set the redaction. So if we look here, we can see them all there. And actually, I just want to make sure that this one can be a little bit higher, just to allow that number there to be covered. So there we go. So now let's click apply, and that will carry out the redaction. So now I have a redacted document. I have all the information in the footers removed that I needed. So now if I wanted to go through and add my own pagination, I can do that without any chance of the text overlapping or anything like that. Also, it can be a good way to remove ring binder lines down the sides of pages from when you perhaps scanned it in out of an existing binder or have received it. So that's a few different ways to use the redaction tool. I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much.